What's good, YouTube? It's your boy J Gamer back at it again with another video, man. And as you can see in the title, we're gonna discuss the whole Donald Cerrone situation with Jackson's and why Jackson's kicked him out of the gym. So I was recently watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and Donald Cerrone broke it down. And I 100% believe Donald Cerrone. Like, does Donald Cerrone look like a liar to you? You know, like, I believe the whole situation. And basically, Donald Cerrone, I'm gonna leave the link to the podcast down below, and I'm gonna leave the times where he talks about it, because he doesn't talk about it the entire podcast. So I'm gonna leave the times at where he talked about the whole situation. So let's hop right into it. It's now, Donald Cerrone didn't call out Mike Perry or anything. He was gonna step in. He was gonna step in to fight. He was gonna step in to fight Felder, and Mike Perry was available, so that whole situation was squashed. And then he went to the UFC Performance Institute, and one of the fight makers was like, "Oh, you know, Mike Perry's calling you out. Do you want to fight him? Whatever." You know, Donald Cerrone. If there's a fight, Donald Cerrone is there. So Donald's like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And cool. So the fight is on now. It's November 10th is the fight, and Mike Perry is new at Jackson's. Like, he had one training camp there for his last fight against Felder. And Donald Cerrone is a Jackson's vet. He'd been there when it was just Greg Jackson. And that's like a decade ago. Donald Cerrone been there way long before John Jones, way long before Carlos Condon, way long before, you know, all these top guys. And it's really sad to see that what the gym has got to, and what the whole situation between these guys. So Donald Cerrone basically said he walked in to talk to Mike and Greg to say, "Hey, man, you know, Mike Perry's a new guy. Let's can he, like, you know, have his training camp for this fight somewhere else? You know, this is my gym. You know, I'm the vet. I'm the 10-year vet. Like, can we just do this, like, just for me? You know? Yeah, cool. We'll figure it out. No problem. No problem, Cowboy." And then, like, a week later, you know, Mike Winklejohn, the little dirty bastard he is, called up Donald Cerrone and said, you know, "Hey, we're gonna go with Mike. You know, he pays and stuff." Basically talking about money again. Like, it's all about money for Mike Winklejohn. And they basically chose the new guy over the vet. Like, that's pretty messed up. You know, some new guy comes into your camp, calls out one of your own fighters. You know, like, fighters that train together, they usually don't fight each other. Like, sometimes it does happen, like Rashad and John Jones, they used to train in the same camp and they fought each other. But if you're at the same weight class, you know, it's eventually gonna happen. But this is the new guy, Mike Perry, and then they chose the new guy over the vet. Like, they chose to train the new guy, keep him there, and kick out the vet. That's pretty messed up. And what Donald was basically saying, like, he really doesn't even like Mike Winklejohn that much, you know, because he felt like Mike Winklejohn was bringing down the gym. They were letting, like, Greg, they said, like, Greg was, like, burnt out with all the, because, you know, he trains John, he trains Holly Holm, he trains Watterson, he trains all these athletes, Carlos Condon, you name it, Diego Sanchez. And they're basically saying that he was burned out, so he let Mike handle everything now. And Mike is basically a money whore. He just wants money, 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 money. They were just letting, like, just amateurs, like, just random guys with, like, no fights off the street. Like, once you're paying, you're in. You could train with you could possibly train with a Holly Holm, train with a Carlos Condon, you know? And that's wild. You could come in and train with a pro, like a guy with no resume could come in and train with a UFC pro. And that's crazy. Because I heard John Jones actually talk about this before. He was talking about finding proper training partners, because he was talking about at Jackson's, if you pay the money, just a regular guy could come in and train with the best fighter in the world, John Jones. So that's pretty crazy that how this whole situation went down. And I 100% believe everything Cowboy is saying. I feel like that's pretty messed up. But since we're on the Cowboy and Mike Perry page, let's just give up my brief prediction on that fight. It's gonna take place November 10th. It's the main event. It's a fight night. I feel this is a pretty tricky fight. Donald Cerrone has all the tools to beat Mike Perry. Even though Donald Cerrone is up there in age, he has all the tools to beat Mike Perry because Mike Perry is just a traditional boxer. He just wants to come in there and knock you out. In his last fight against Felder, he showed that he could be patient. He's not going to come out there, bite down his mouthpiece, and just swing and try to knock you out with every punch. He showed that he could be patient, technical, and that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary for a guy like Mike Perry to show that he could be very patient and technical. It's like a great comparison. Well, some of you guys might think this is not a great comparison, but like Cyborg. When Cyborg fights, you think she's just going to come out there and just go ape shit and knock somebody out. But in her last fight against Holly Holm, she showed that she could be very patient, technical. You know, somebody with a lot of power who can be very patient and relax and not go for the KO with every punch is very, very freaking scary. So that's exactly what Mike Perry did against Felder. But I hope you guys understand my comparison. But yeah, so like I said, Donald Cerrone has all the tools to beat Mike Perry. What Donald Cerrone has to do to beat Mike Perry is leg kicks, jab, stick and move, like they say. Throw a lot of leg kicks to the body, get him tired. Throw a lot of leg kicks to the inner leg, you know. Throw that Jackson's leg kick, you know, to the knee. Let him buckle his knee, you know. Let him think twice about coming in there against you. But that's what Donald Cerrone has to do. He has all the tools to win the fight. He could even take the fight to the ground. His jiu-jitsu is up there. But will Donald Cerrone do that? I'm not sure. I'm a huge Donald Cerrone fan. I'm not going to be too biased, but I said too biased. But I feel like Donald Cerrone has all the tools to beat him. It's a question if he's going to use those tools, you know, like if he's going to get that whole Jackson situation in his head where he neglects all his tools and, you know, just come in there, bite down a mouthpiece and try to knock this guy out. But I see Donald Cerrone. If Donald Cerrone sticks to a proper game plan, I see him winning this fight. If he doesn't and comes out here overly aggressive against Mike Perry, it could be the end of his night. It could be a short night for Donald Cerrone real quick. But I'm going with Donald Cerrone because, like I said, he has all the tools. He has multiple tools to beat Mike Perry. Mike Perry only has one, which is striking, which is boxing, you know? So I'm going to go with the guy with more tools, more versatile, more experience, which is Donald Cerrone. The link to the whole Jackson situation that Donald Cerrone was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast, I'll leave the time and everything. And make sure to like and subscribe. Yeah, it's your boy J Gamer, and I'm out of here. Peace.